I've seen your comments. You've been asking for this, and this is exactly why we're doing this video. Today, I want to discuss BYSTIAL Runic, not a deck that I created, but a deck I picked up and played a lot with and really been enjoying it. I think it's one of the coolest ways you can play the branded engine. Now that branded is like not really a strong contender in the meta. So we're going to discuss that today. Test hands, combos, starters, a really in-depth breakdown about the deck. But before we begin, you see this beautiful playmat right here. The Black Friday sale over on sleevechief.de is still going on, 20% off the entire website. A lot of new products, a lot of restocks, and in addition to all of that, 5% off. If you've been holding out to get a playmat, to get a deck box, to get anything really cool to spice up your collection in your deck when you want to flex in locals, check it out in the link in the description below. It really helps support my channel. So check that out before things start running out. Today, we're going to be discussing Runic BYSTIAL, or BYSTIAL Runic, or whatever you want to call it. Runic branded, even. I want to talk today about the starters, the extenders, do some test hands, and show you a little bit how the deck kind of works. So I do want to start off with the card you see right here on the top, which is Quem. Now, Quem, if you don't know what this card does and you're a little bit newer to branded, this on summon sends a card that mentions Fallen Valbaz from the deck to the graveyard. Now, this is of course a level 4 tuner, which you have a lot of in this deck because you combine, this is like, I'm kind of comparing it to Runic Naturia, where you have a lot of level 4 tuners, specifically Camellia, that combine really well with the Runic engine, which are just free special summons of any level that you kind of want. So this is probably your main or only normal summon that you ever want to start with. Usually I play 3 of these at the moment because you don't really normal summon. You need some sort of engine going. Now, Quem, what it does is summon is sent to the graveyard one of two things. The Bystial Aluber or Cartesia. Now, Cartesia, you're probably familiar with this. It's a poly on legs, quick effect. You special summon a level 8 or higher. I believe it should be level 8 or higher, yeah. And it's a level 4 tuner. Now, the Bystial Aluber is a bit better against dragon decks. It can summon a dragon or snatch a dragon from your opponent's field, but mainly it's a Bystial, so you can search it with Lubellion, and it's also another level 4 dragon tuner. This is especially good when you're using this in a Bystial to make this pattern. Now, the cool thing about Quem is that when a card leaves the extra deck, you can target one monster that special summons that mentions Fallen Valbaz in your graveyard and special summon it. So what you would usually do is normal summon this, send either one of these, the one that you need to extend with your combo, and then when you activate Runic Slumber to special summon any runic name from your extra deck, you can activate Quem and get one of these in return. So automatically what it does is it basically makes a Baron on its own. So how you would do that is, let's say you start off with Quem and any runic name, right? Normal summon Quem. Let's send Cartesia to the graveyard from the deck. Now you use Runic Slumber to get a copy of Hugin from the deck, which is level 2. You can activate it, not activate it, depending on the state of your hand. And now on summon, you can first of all chain block the Hugin with the Quem, and the Quem gets you the card you sent to the graveyard, right? So it gets Cartesia. Now, Cartesia and Hugin, level 4 tuner, level 2 non-tuner, you can make either a Coral Dragon if you happen to have a level 4. You can also afterwards use Gary. So if you have another runic spell, you can go ahead and this is a 10, or you go for the Triage Master. Both of these will draw your card. So Triage Master, if you haven't watched the deck profile, if it's used with level 4 and level 2 as synchro materials, you can draw a card, which is exactly what we did with Cartesia and Hugin. And now I have a level 6. And then these two turn into, of course, Baron de Fleur or any other synchro that you might need. We have some of them here. Baron is obviously going to be a good starter for you to set it on your board to have an negate. This is mainly the bread and butter of the deck, right? You want to get some access to this, and then this is the Runic Naturia part, where it combines really well and it complements each other, where you have a lot of level 4 tuner. Usually you play 3/3 because these are your starters usually, And then you play an additional Aluber because since it's a Bystial, it's much easier to get access to, right? Now, we covered the level 4s of the deck. Let's talk about the Bystial package. Now, it really depends on what you want to play, right? Currently, in my build, it was 3 Lubellion, 1 of each Bystial, and then regained in Beast. So if you already have access to the level 4s, you can go ahead and start your Bystial lineup, right? This card, of course, searches any Bystial, so you can search for the Bystial Aluber, but usually you would go for something like Serenir to get some sort of extension and send a branded card, spell or trap, to the graveyard. So usually what you would want to do, and this is true about every dragon deck basically, is get a Serenir. Now, after we've gone through the whole Baron shenanigans, you can banish one of them to special summon the Serenir. Now, the Serenir, if you have access to one more of these, right? Since Quem can summon the level 4 tuners from the graveyard, now you can go up to something like Dispatter, Baron, Chaos Angel, whatever, right? But most importantly, you want to get access to Regained by tributing this, sending this to the graveyard, and then you can place branded beasts on the field with Lubellion, and with Serenir you can send Regained. This is very, very important to the grind game, even to the point of playing 2 Regained, because it's such an amazing card. They provide you the most value because every turn you can summon back another Bystial. It's another layer of protection. It's another thing that you can use with Branded Beast. If you're playing Etude of the Branded, which is a card I currently keep in my side deck, and it's right here, then you can quick synchro on your opponent's turn and make something like a Chaos Angel, right? With something like this, a level 4 light, and any Bystial. You make it quick synchro with Etude to get a banish, put a big body on board, towers, in that case, when you use it with the Light of Dark. This is exactly what this card was designed for. It was designed to make level 10 synchros with these because the synergy is just right there when you need it, right? And the last thing I want to talk about is the runic names. Now, the runic names are very important. So you have Hugin, which we looked at already. This is going to be the main thing that you go to because of the synergy with level 4 tuners. In addition to that, we are playing Gary as well, because Gary works really good with Coral Dragon. So if you want to draw and you have another runic name that you need to, for example, activate in order to activate Runic Fountain to draw, then you would go in this line instead. Instead of the line I showed with Triage Master, if you need an extension through another runic name that you need to activate in order to get access to Runic Fountain, then you can go in this line. Now this is a level 6 tuner, a level 4 non-tuner. This makes every synchro 10 basically, except Dispatter, right? This is going to be the bread and butter when you use Gary specifically. Now Sleipnir, you don't really get to use it for its level, but it is a very good card. This card is kind of a discount SPL Knight. During your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, it can banish itself, and it can banish another monster your opponent controls until the end phase. So it's very, very similar to SPL Knight. And also, if your opponent adds a card from their deck to the hand, this is the generator lore part of this card. It summons a token to your field, a level 4 light token, where you can use it for, again, synchro summoning. The level 4 is very important here. So I do want to show you the bread and butter combo of this deck. The basic thing that will get your engine running. Basically, let's take 2 crappy runic spells that you can't really use, right? And then let's just grab a couple of Veilers for discard. So you do play a lot of runic names specifically for that. And I do want to show the basic combo, which makes Quem and 2 of these a draw 3 plus an Omni Negate at the very, very least. And this is a control deck. This deck grinds like hell. So the point is not to make a 1000 negate board or 1000 interruption board. It is just enough to grind with your opponent because your deck can do that better probably than any deck in the meta currently. So I do want to show how that works. So this is our hand, right? We have Quem, 2 extra cards, and 2 runic names. So it's technically a 3-card combo, but the runic names are what you want to draw. Like if you don't draw 2, it makes it a little bit harder, but you can still unbrick your hand, draw more. Like this deck, what it does is basically draw cards. So we show that again. Normal summon Quem. Quem will send Cartesia to the graveyard. Right, so Cartesia is here in the graveyard. Now, we're going to use a runic name to summon Hugin. And then we also get a chain block here, right? So Hugin is going to be chain 1, discard to search the field spell, right? And then Quem is going to be 2, targeting the Cartesia to special summon it from the graveyard. So special summon the Cartesia, and we search for our wonderful, beloved Runic Fountain, right? So now we go ahead, activate the Runic Fountain. We're going to go here into the Tri-Edge Master. It kind of depends on your hand, right? If you have more Runic cards, you can make a Gary now and draw another card later. But this is like very, very basic, and it gets a light in the grave, which is important later when you have Bystials. Like these 2 outer cards should be a way to Bystials. So now with Tri-Edge Master, we're going to draw another card. So right now we just drew a card. Then we can use Runic Dispelling here to summon basically whatever you need. Usually it's going to be a Sleipnir, but it doesn't actually really matter. We're going to turn these 2 into a Baron, right? And of course, before we do that, we shuffle back the 2 names that we currently have, and we draw 2 more cards, right? We shuffle these back, we draw 2 more, and we invested 1 card out of our hand for an Omni-Negate. Another Runic monster, this could be a Gary, this could be whatever. This currently is an interruption. So if you get another extension here, right? If you get another one, you turn these into SP Little Knight, because this deck is basically a Little Knight machine, right? And you have 3-4 cards in your hand, more Runics, more disruptions. So I do hope you learned something a little bit about the main combo. I think this deck is a deck that needs to be played in order to feel the power of. It's really hard to like do a test hand, finish on something that might seem a little bit underwhelming. And then everybody's going to be like, oh, this deck sucks. You need to be playing this deck because this deck can grind like hell. And Runic decks don't usually necessarily put up an insane board. They usually play a lot from the hand and a lot with the grind game. So give it a try. The link to the video that I made with a deck list for this is going to be right here, right now. You can check it out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know if you have any suggestions on how you would play this deck differently. Don't forget about the Sleeve Chief Black Friday sale, 20% off, 5% off in addition with Gals 05. Over right now on sleevechief.de. Really helps out the channel. Check in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.